All right, guys, we're going to get right into it, man. This guy, Zohran Mamdani, is triggering all the right people, man. Oh, my God, these people are losing their mind all over the internet, guys. They have lost it. They can't believe it, man. They're like, oh, my God, we're going to have a former ISIS member as the New York City mayor. Freaking clowns, man. And it's absolutely hilarious because the guy's a democratic liberal socialist, which is very antithetical to fundamentalist Islam. Like, how are you a fundamentalist Islamist and then a socialist at the same time? How does that work? But, again, guys, these talking points are being used to target very low IQ individuals or ignorant people, the general American public. Let's just be real, right? Middle America. Oh, my God, we're going to have a Islamist former ISIS member as New York City mayor. No, we can't have that. We have to shout and scream. You got people like Stephen Miller and Charlie Kirk failing at trying to establish a white ethno-state, screaming, tweeting out like, oh, you guys remember 9/11? You really want to have a Muslim as the New York City mayor? Eric Adams' goofy ass is coming out. Oh, we can't have a Muslim as the mayor of New York. And this guy took money from an Islamist. He took money from Erdogan. That's his whole investigation was about him taking money from Turkey, right, to establish like this Turkish diplomatic center where they can come and spy and do espionage and shit. And this guy's over here complaining about, Zohran, who simply said, hey, I'm not going to Israel after I win, because they did that whole interview where they're like, hey, which country are you going to visit first when you win the mayor of New York? And, obviously they're expecting him to say, oh, I got to go to Israel and bow down to all the leaders there and take it up the a-hole. So he's like, no, I'm staying here in New York. I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying here in New York and I'm fixing this fucking city up because it's going downhill. Everybody lost their shit, guys. They're like, oh, shit. No, man, don't tell us that. You have to go to Israel. You have to go to Israel and bow down. Are you crazy? You're anti-Semitic. You're a terrorist. You have to do that. Fucking disgrace, bro. So we're gonna get into this video here. This is a podcast called Her Take. So this is, I guess, they're trying to compete with The View. These are like right-wing conservative females, who have more right-wing conservative viewpoints. So we're gonna press play. This lady's batshit crazy and at very low IQ. But let's get into this video here and break down some of her talking points.
Right into it, and I might say something that might offend some folks, but it is the. Go ahead.
Do it, girl.
Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you for the nod.
Sink your teeth in.
I am absolutely stunned that the city that is famous for being terrorized by Islamic terrorists is on the cusp of electing Islamic extremists who is chanting globalized intifada as its mayor. That for me is just jaw-dropping. This is 24 years after 9/11.
Oh my God. But you know what's not jaw-dropping? How about millions of Americans getting their health care slashed? Okay, millions of Americans without health care, and you guys want to sit here and be like, oh my God, it's class warfare. Who's going to pay for the free buses? Oh, who's going to do that? Oh, the top 1%, the beautiful top 1%, the Wall Streeters. Oh my God, no, we don't want any of their money. They own 1% of the 99.999% of the wealth. No, we can't take money from them. Fuck that. We have to keep draining the poor and adding $1 trillion to our fiscal debt for military, which is 60% of it is going to go to bullshit. You know what I mean?
And it just completely blows my mind that this is happening. But putting that aside, I also want to address his Marxist agenda and all the things that he's laying out as he's posturing himself, portraying himself as a man of the working people. But my view is that it's basically a Trojan horse for government takeovers of many different programs. For example, he promises free buses, city-run grocery.
Free buses, guys. Holy shit. Dude, he's doing free buses? Fuck that. No, man. We can't have that. That's totally that's absurd. No, we have to charge these poor, helpless people more money to take the bus. Get the fuck out of here, man. Why don't you talk about the millions of people who are losing health care due to Elon Musk and Donald Trump's fucking big, beautiful, trash-ass bill, where they're cutting Medicare and shit and putting it towards the military to get us involved in World War. Man, get the fuck. And they're over here complaining about free buses, guys. Tell me, I'm like, is she serious right now?
Grocery stores are rent freeze, a 30 minimum wage, but who is paying for that? Because as we all know, there's no such thing as a free lunch in American society. Someone is paying for that, and it's working class families in New York City. And we've seen the same thing play out in cities like San Francisco, and it's been an absolute disaster there. And this New York City is a home of Wall Street and real estate empires. Yes,
we can't touch our beautiful Wall Street guys who, out-earn New Yorkers. Like the average New Yorker is absolutely fucking suffering. And the guys are saying, hey, just give them free buses and $30 minimum wage. Like, it makes sense. Like, living in New York is absolutely horrendous. Like, it's probably the most expensive place in the fucking world. And you can't do $30 minimum wages. I mean, with all the shit that's going, like, are you guys serious? Oh, but that's like the most horrible. No, we want to hear you guys. No, we want the government to continue spending trillions in debt towards our military and armaments, and half of that is going to go to Israel. No, we don't want regular average New Yorkers to make $30 an hour so they could at least afford lunch. Fuck that.
Would devastate the economy there and drive a lot of big money out of the city. The same money that drives the economic engine of arguably the greatest city on earth. And I'm from Philadelphia, and I still concede that. I believe that his Marxist playbook.
Guys, I've been in New York City. It's an absolute hellhole. Like, for the average New Yorkers, absolutely getting kicked in the ass. You'll be surprised how expensive things are. Like, it's sometimes it's mind-boggling. Like, even insurance is like fucking $10,000 a year. You got to pay like $1,000 a month for insurance. Like, $30 an hour. You guys can't do $30 an hour for the average New Yorker who's getting his back broken while we send $3.8 billion to our greatest ally in the world who's driving us into World War III.
Crush the economic engine. Beyond that, he continually uses the inflammatory slogan, globalize intifada, which I think raises huge red flags. He claims it's about Palestinian rights. But from what I hear is Jew-hating extremism. And given the heavy Jewish population in New York City, I think his incendiary rhetoric, it undermines the fabric and the essence of the city, and is just a tremendous show of disrespect.
What's funny? Like 50% of his voters, the majority of his supporters are actually New York Jews, which is
Democrats, on the other hand, they praise his identity politics, they praise his diversity, but they influence. He's going to undermine the working class, and that's why
I'm sorry, bro. I can't
no, it's fine. But
well, while we're looking for that, I was going to let Anna respond, if that's okay.
Somebody just wrote her talking points or shit.
Did you make that last point, Lindy?
All right, we're going to get into what Anna has to say, because she absolutely destroys this weird woman.
I'm just saying that
let's get into it.
His win in the Democratic Party gives fodder to Republicans who are rightfully saying that these socialist Marxist policies aren't going to work. And honestly, it flames it. This is an electoral advantage for Republicans, I think, because a backlash against him will galvanize voters and encourage them to go to the polls, not just in New York, but across the country, because people don't want this. We rejected that in 2024.
Okay,
so
Anna,
I'm just curious, is there a day you wake up where you don't see terrorism everywhere? Because you literally just implied that this guy's a terrorist. And I found that bigoted, Islamophobic, and absolutely disgusting. If you don't like his policies, I can understand that, and we can have a discussion about those policies. But it seems like you just have a problem with the fact that he's Muslim. You have a problem with the fact that he looks a little different from other previous leaders. Don't interrupt me. I'm still speaking. I didn't interrupt you. Listen. The problem with that mayoral race is that the Democratic candidates who ran against him in the primary offered nothing. They offered nothing but the status quo.
And
Andrew Cuomo was the former disgraced governor of that state who somehow thought that he had, the entitlement to have his past erased and that people would totally accept him again. I'm really happy to find that the people of New York City rejected him because he's a complete and utter disaster. Now, as it pertains to Mamdani, we should actually talk about what he focused on as he was campaigning, because he actually did run a fantastic campaign. Even if you don't agree with his policies, he reached out to Trump voters in New York City and tried to figure out, hey, what is it that made you vote for Trump? What is it that's frustrating you about your current situation? He hyper-focused on economic frustration, much like Trump did, by the way, in 2016.
Yeah.
That's what put Trump on the map. Mamdani did the same, although he had a little more substance to the exact policies that he wanted to implement. When it comes to government-run grocery stores, look, I agree. That seems a little weird. He was asked to elaborate on that a little more during a recent CNN interview. And he said that he wants to have one government-owned grocery store in each borough. So there would be a total of 5. That would cost about $60 million. Obviously, that would be paid for through taxpayer money. I want to be clear about this, and I think this is a huge flaw among the left, okay? When they target racial groups, when they say we want to tax white people, it turns people off, including me. Don't do race-based garbage like that, okay? But aside from that, and I do think that was a foible, I mean, let's talk about what else he focused on. I mean, he focused on so many different things. So he went to those halal street vendors, and that was his first political ad, where he asked them, you know, how is inflation impacting you and your prices, how much you're selling these, street food items for. And being able to actually connect with ordinary people is what put Mamdani on the map. Okay, this nonsense about him being like a terrorist, I'm rejecting that.
First of all, I said he was a extremist, never called him a terrorist. And I'm with all due respect,
Lindsay, and it was gross. It's gross.
How are you condoning his usage of globalized intifada? Is that
I think
okay?
it's stupid. He probably shouldn't say stupid stuff like that because it's going to be misinterpreted. I know what he meant by it. It doesn't matter though. People like you are going to be like shivering about it. So he shouldn't use words like that.
Because it was a horrible thing to say. He should not have said it.
And by the way, like when they say slogans like that, guys, it's really again, it's a lot of they're very. A lot of the people on the far left are extremely dissatisfied, along with the majority of Americans, both on the right and left, and just general Americans. Any type of humanity, right? Any type of humanity, you're generally are just absolutely, just disgusted by the genocide that's going on in Gaza, right? So slogans like that, they can't be misinterpreted. It's nothing extreme. And like we said before, like, when they want to say that the guy is a fundamentalist Islamist and that he's going to be able to implement. What's crazy is that's like an outward projection of how the lack of confidence these people have in their own political, authority figures and their own, just their own country in general, because there's so many different people who are just being, again, they're all foreign agents. Like we said, Eric Adams, Andrew Cole, a lot of these people, Elon Musk, like, which it hasn't really been announced yet, but I'm pretty sure he's a foreign agent for like the Chinese, the CCP guys. A lot of these people are very, very insecure and have a lack of confidence in their own political establishment, to where somebody like Mamdani they consider as someone who can like somehow over time implement like Islamic laws within New York, as if like, and this guy's just a fucking mayor of New York City. He's not even the governor. He's not, and they think that this guy has that much fucking authority, just to show you how stupid and like, the lack of intelligence with some of these people, guys, is absolutely,
absolutely unacceptable.
Eye-opening.
Okay, Dave, go. I could go. Your turn.
Well, I mean, I guess I could kind of split the difference a little bit between the two of you. Like, I don't think like city-owned grocery stores are just a weird idea, and I think his plan for freezing rent-stabilized apartments and increasing the number of rent-controlled apartments, I think these are all going to be disastrous policies if they're enacted. I don't like to see that stuff win. I just feel like there's a level of like delusion amongst the Democratic establishment who's so opposed to this guy, and it's almost like they don't see two very obvious things to me as an outsider who's not a Democrat, and not, I guess, anymore a New Yorker, although I was born and raised there. Okay, number one, the Democrats, the establishment of the Democratic Party, they're the most humiliated, castrated, discredited political group in the world. They literally just... They went all in for 8 years saying that Donald Trump was the greatest threat in the history of the world and that he was a Russian spy who led an insurrection and denied the results of an election and democracy is over if this guy wins again. And then when the time came, the best they could field was a senile career politician who was an unimpressive dimwit before he lost his mind and was just like totally attached to every disastrous policy in the last 40 years in America, the war on drugs, the war on terrorism, just everything. He was all over it. Then at the last minute, when they realized he was too senile to run, they subbed in like a cackling retard to try to be the one who stopped it. And they just got totally humiliated. The guy who they said was the greatest threat to humanity wins every swing state and the popular vote, and then they want to walk back and then now when they're so scared of this guy, the best they could feel was Andrew Cuomo. It's like the guy who just destroyed the state. Do they not realize how much people have woken up to how insane COVID was and how wrong he was about everything? Oh, and by the way, add in he murdered senior citizens.
Yeah,
murdered them. He forced these nursing homes who were begging and pleading. I mean, if you could think back to what it was in May of 2020 to send COVID positive patients into a nursing home, that's premeditated murder. Like, for a fact, people will die as a result of this. Then he covered it up. Then he lied to Congress about the cover up. I mean, the guy is like, the fact that they would even run him or that he's considering running as an independent now is wild. And look,
yeah, the Democrats, they've lost their shit, guys. They've lost so much influence and just the atrocious 4-year term of Joe Biden, and the best they can come up with is Kamala Harris. They swapped him out with Kamala Harris, which was another disaster. She was twice as bad. I think Biden would have fucking probably even beat Trump, man. As senile and as unbelievably the guy was just barely functioning towards the end, so I mean, at least bring in Obama, bring in a Barack Obama, bring in a Gavin Newsom, bring in a but these guys absolutely just missed, man. They're just doing horrible. But yeah, anyways, again, not all his policies aren't all that great. I'm not gonna sit here and say I like freeze control, especially me owning real estate. I have real estate investments, stuff like that. Rent control and stuff like that is just, we know how disastrous that could get with tenants who want to squat and do all that weird shit. And so, again, I'm not saying the guy is fucking perfect, but the fact that they're trying to smear him by using identity politics and stuff like that, even though they claim that they're the ones that don't, the right wing always says, oh, we're not we don't use identity politics to influence our elections and shit like that. The fact that they're using that as their main go-to is absolutely hilarious. When this guy's the complete opposite of what they think, what image they have of what someone who's a Muslim or whatever in America is capable of doing, which is just fucking ridiculous. Anyways, man, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Like, comment, subscribe. Hopefully the guy wins it. I want to, bro. I just love seeing these people triggered. It's golden. It's fucking golden.